Here is a deeply expanded version of the story, richer in emotion, backstory, inner conflict, and atmosphere. It keeps the core motivational spirit while feeling more cinematic and lived in. Chosen one. Right now, you're so close. You passed. The wind always smelled of pine and wet sawdust in Willow Creek, Montana. Ethan Harper had breathed that smell every morning of his 21 years. It clung to his father's flannel shirts, to the porch steps his grandfather had built, to the frayed laces of the running shoes Ethan still wore, even though the soles were almost transparent. His father, Jack, was a quiet man who spoke more with calloused hands than words. 32 years at the mill had carved deep lines around his eyes and left him hard of hearing in his left ear from the scream of the saws. He never complained. He simply came home, kissed Ethan's mother on the temple, ate whatever was on the table, and fell asleep in the recliner before the news ended. Ethan's mother, Maria, cleaned houses 6 days a week. She carried other people's lives in her hands, polishing silver picture frames of children who went to private schools, folding laundry that smelled of expensive detergent, wiping fingerprints from glass coffee tables bigger than their entire kitchen. She came home smelling faintly of lemon cleaner and someone else's lavender candles. Every night she would sit at the chipped formica table, count the day's tips into neat stacks, and whisper prayers in Spanish, so soft, Ethan sometimes thought he imagined them. Ethan was the only child. That made the weight heavier. He wasn't supposed to dream so big. People in Willow Creek didn't. They graduated high school, took a job at the mill or the diner or the gas station out on Highway 93, married someone they'd known since kindergarten, and eventually bought a double-wide on the edge of town. That was the path. Safe, predictable, survivable. But Ethan had seen something else when he was 14. During a school field trip to the State University in Missoula, he'd watched the track team warm up. The way they moved looked like freedom, lean, purposeful, almost flying. One runner in particular, a senior named Caleb, had finished a set of strides and then jogged over to the fence where the high school kids stood. He was sweating, smiling, alive in a way Ethan had never seen anyone look at home. "You run?" Caleb had asked, nodding at Ethan's cheap knockoff Nikes. "A little," Ethan mumbled. "Start running every day, even when it rains, even when you're tired, especially then. That's the difference." Caleb tapped his own chest. Not talent, choice. Ethan never forgot it. He started the next morning, 5:47 a.m., still dark, frost on the gravel road. No music, no fancy watch, just him and the cold and the rhythm of his own breathing. He ran the same 4.2-mile loop, past the shuttered lumber yard, past the cemetery where his abuela was buried, past the place where the river bent and the sound of water drowned out everything else. Years passed that way. He grew taller, leaner, stronger. Grades climbed from B's to A's. He took every AP class the tiny high school offered. He read books he didn't fully understand yet, Steinbeck, Baldwin, Angelo, because they felt like people talking directly to him. At night, he studied with a thrift store desk lamp while his parents slept, the house creaking around him like an old ship. College applications went out in October of his senior year. 8 schools, 7 rejections arrived in a slow, polite avalanche. The 8th envelope came last, thin, not thick. Ethan almost didn't open it. When he did, the single sheet inside said, "Congratulations, Ethan Harper. You have been conditionally accepted, pending final review of athletic eligibility and financial documentation." Conditional. The word tasted like rust. He needed a full ride, not partial, not loans his parents could never repay. Full. And the only path left was the one he'd been quietly building since that day at the fence. Run fast enough, long enough, hard enough that someone noticed. The Northern Rockies Regional Championships were held the first weekend of May. 42 schools. The top 2 finishers in the 5,000 meters from each heat would get serious looks from university scouts. Ethan was seeded 14th, not invisible, but far from favored. He woke at 4:11 that morning. Habit. He ate the same thing he always ate before big race. 2 slices of toast with peanut butter, a banana, and black coffee. His mother packed him an extra sandwich, just in case. His father didn't say much, just squeezed Ethan's shoulder once, hard, then let go. At the track, the air was sharp with spring. Ethan pinned his bib with shaking fingers. Around him were kids with $300 spikes, compression sleeves, coaches with clipboards and headsets. Ethan had his mother's old kitchen scissors to cut the tags off his discount store singlet and the same shoes he'd been running in for 2 years. He warmed up alone. The gun cracked. The first mile felt easy, too easy. Ethan settled into 6th place, letting the favorites set the pace. He told himself, "Stay patient. You know how to suffer longer than they do." Lap 6, the burn started. Real burn, the kind that makes your vision tunnel. The leader, a kid from Bozeman named Ryder, with a scholarship already locked in, started to pull away. Ethan felt the old voices rise. "You don't belong here. Your shoes are garbage. They've had coaches since middle school. You're going to embarrass yourself." He almost believed them. Then he remembered something his mother had said years earlier when he'd come home crying after a kid at school mocked his patched backpack. She'd wiped his face with her sleeve and whispered, "Mijo, the world will try to decide who you are 1,000 times. Most people let it. You don't have to. Every single day, you get to decide again." Ethan decided. He didn't speed up dramatically. He just stopped fighting the pain and started leaning into it. Each stride became a choice. Each breath became defiance. The gap to Ryder shrank. 5 meters, 4, 3, final lap. The crowd noise swelled into white static. Ethan could see the finish line now, that thin white line he'd dreamed about for 7 years. His legs felt like concrete. His lungs felt like they were tearing. Everything screamed, "Slow down, slow down, slow down." But another voice, older, quieter, his own, cut through. "You've already passed." Not the race. The nights he ran in the dark when no one cared. The mornings he chose flashcards instead of sleep. The afternoons he smiled and nodded when classmates called him "poor kid" to his face. The evenings he watched his parents come home broken and still found a way to laugh with them at dinner. The 1,000 small, invisible moments when he could have quit and didn't. He had already passed. Right now, he was so close. Ethan dipped his shoulder, drove his knees, found one last gear he didn't know he had. Half a stride, a breath, a heartbeat. He crossed the line first. He didn't remember falling. He just remembered the rubber track against his cheek, the sound of his own gasping, and then someone saying his name. The scout from the university was kneeling beside him. Mid-40s, calm eyes, clipboard tucked under his arm. "We've had your splits every meet since junior year," he said quietly. "We've watched the workout videos your coach secretly sent us. We saw the way you ran today, but more than that, we saw the way you lived before today." Ethan tried to speak, couldn't. The scout continued, "You didn't just win a race. You proved you're built for the long road. That's what we want. That's what lasts." Later, after the handshakes and the paperwork and the phone call to his parents, his mother cried so hard she couldn't speak. His father only said, "I knew," and hung up because his voice cracked. Ethan walked out behind the bleachers alone. The sun was setting behind the mountains, turning the sky the color of fire and rose. He looked down at his ruined shoes, at the bib still pinned to his chest, at the number 47 that had somehow carried him here. And in that quiet moment, he heard it again, not as a shout, but as a deep, certain knowing. Chosen one. Right now, you're so close. You passed. Not just the finish line, not just the scholarship, all of it. The unseen years, the unseen tears, the unseen faith. You passed. And somewhere, in the thousands of other quiet battles being fought tonight by people no one is watching, no one is cheering for, the same truth is whispering. You're closer than it feels.
You've already passed the hardest parts. Keep going. The finish line is only the moment the world finally sees what you already became. You are the chosen one, and you've already won.